YouTubes, how's it going? Alright, so it's very early in the morning now. My voice is kind of scratchy. My throat's kind of scratchy. I'm recording this before school even. For you guys, we got a little extra time here. Off screen, I sent some villagers over here to get some of this gold. So I'm getting closer to getting spies. I realize, I feel stupid about this, that the Jaguars have the attack bonus against infantry, which will be helpful against Tlaxcala, and a little bit against Cortez, so it'll be a little bit more than the champion. They will end up having 20 attack as opposed to 21 for the champions, but they have better armor, so and better, more hit points, so it's a little bit better. It's not a huge bonus, but the attack bonus will really help me out, and I'll have to go through one upgrade, gold upgrade, and long swordsmen are champions are slightly less expensive than the champion though, or Jaguar warriors are slightly more expensive than the champion though, so that's the one downside. So in this part, what I'm going to do is I have room for a couple trebuchets, and I'm going to make another Jaguar warrior here, and I'm going to send him out. I'm not going to go with the elite Eagle warrior, that's what I meant to say. The reason being is I really want to minimize the amount of gold that I'm spending, and I'm not really going to be using something like the Eagle warrior because I need power when I'm facing Tlaxcala and Cortez. Really, there's not much payoff going with the Eagle warrior against Tlaxcala. You want to be able to overwhelm them because they have infantry, and having Eagle warriors will help you with speed and catching up with the conquistadors, but that's about it. So I need to make more houses. Those are obviously a bunch of my idle villagers. Alright, so I need the one that's down here. Okay. So I'm going to make, let's make a house over here. It's a little bit off the coast. And we'll start with that. Have these guys get mining the stone. I really don't have a use for it at the immediate time, but I might in a little bit. The reason being is I'm expanding now, and here are some of the horse pens over here that we're going to want to get. I believe, I'm not sure the total number of Tarkans you can get, something like 13. So it's a good amount of Tarkans, and they'll help you a lot. They actually help you quite a bit in defending even. Against possibly even ships. They can run down ships pretty well, and melee units are pretty good against ships if you haven't noticed that Eagle Warrior earlier on taking care of it. So you realize they got some fishing ships coming now, which is not good. Invading my space. So once they get close to my castle, they'll be taken out, no problemo. So I'm just chipping along in this scenario. Like I said, I really have no strategy. Oh, and one thing I forgot. Those Bombard Cannons, the additional 5 that I got in the last part, were all discovered over here. I had that errant Eagle warrior that ran into Tlaxcala's base. They're on this gravel stone brick path right there. So if you're wanting to find them, that is where they are. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just scouting out before I go in for the attack against some of Cortez's defenses. They have some Bombard Cannons and a couple walled-in areas that contain a lot of gold. You have to be pretty close and not close, but pretty selective in your attacks against Cortez right now because they are very responsive. They will get in there and they will take you out. They will send some champions, so if you get too close to their base, they react pretty well. So I need to queue up some farms apparently. My game's glitching a little bit. Like I said, this is the first thing my computer's doing. It's not used to playing Age of Empires and Conquerors right away. It's a little laggy. But hopefully you're able to bear that in part 2 of the Boiling Lake. So I was going for record time, I know, completing the Montezuma campaign. Things probably aren't going to work out that way, unfortunately. I was like part 11 at part 1 of Boiling Lake. But I'm not. So we're just going to have to live with it, and we're just going to take our time going through the Boiling Lake before we get to the final scenario, because this scenario you have to be pretty surgical or else you'll get pulled into the trap of being kind of a guerrilla war with all the different paths and a large open body of water that favors Spanish, even though you might have the advantage in numbers. Once you get closer to the bay over here, they have a lot of towers that will easily take down your... Alright, so that's a scout. Will easily take down your naval units. And obviously they have galleons, we have war galleys, elite cannon galleons. That's pretty intimidating. So there is one of the gold patches that we're going to want to get. There's some of the more, those are more of the horses. And you might want to use a battering ram in order to take down these walls over here. Because you don't really want to spend petards on something that is helping you indirectly in getting those horses, and you want to get them for free, essentially. So there's our 4 more horses. And then inside here is a bunch of gold and a relic as well. So I recommend exploiting that anytime you get the opportunity to do so. Alright, so we lost Eagle Warrior. He did a good job exploring for us. Now that that's over, though, we're going to send Trebuchet Man over here, and we're going to work at taking out these walls. They usually respond, so I'm hoping that that's not the case at this time. And he's still an idle villager, so I'll put one more house, get us to a century mark, and just monitor these guys getting stone. There's another stone pile over here, but as you can see, it gets closer to Tlaxcala. It's not the ideal position. You really want to get over here at some point. And taking out these... Actually, I want to take down these bombard cannons first. And to do that, I'm going to have to get an Eagle Warrior out of here. So bring Eagle Warrior out of here. And I'm doing this because I don't want to put my trebuchets at immediate risk right now. And it's also a good place to put down a castle later on. It's a nice little island similar to this, but it has 4 bombard cannons on it. I don't believe it has any resources. Alright, so we're getting some idle villagers here, which is good though. We want to keep them away from coming over here because we want to clear up some space over here as well, and it's semi-protected as well. And like I said, going over here, it's pretty adventurous. Alright, so do I have my Eagle Warrior outside of the base? Holy crap, get over here. Alright, so that's okay, that's just a keep. Alright, so we're going to hustle over here and probably sacrifice another... Well, this is an elite Eagle Warrior. Maybe he can get away with it. Alright, so there are the first 2 bombard cannons. Oh, you're not going to lead me perfectly. You're going to hit the sea rocks there. Juke vest. Oh my goodness. That's not a good place to run there, right into the middle of the cannon. That'd be a terrible way to die. See, I mean, it would take you at once, but just to see that thing floating at you, I mean, that looks pretty slow to me. It would take your head right off, though, I'm sure. I've heard gory Civil War stories about that. How true they are, I'm still yet to know. Alright, so there is just that fortified wall to take care of. I'm going to send these guys back down here just to protect them. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my defenses quite yet. I'm still kind of waiting in the wings to figure out. Alright, so we got a little skirmish going on here. Let's take out these Spaniards. Do they even have a cannon galleon with them? Yes, they have a couple of them, as usual. And it's a good idea to go for the the galleons first, because later on they'll start running away from you. They'll get real pesty, and then they'll just draw your guys into more of their elite cannon galleons. So going for their galleons is actually a better option. I have 7, 8, so I'm going to fill it out with another fast fire ship. It's a really nice thing that we do get the fast fire ships, though. So hopefully with that little dent in their navy, we'll have an opportunity to take down these bombard towers. I've been calling them bombard cannons a lot lately. Apologize for that. And it's a little risky going over here, so it's actually not a bad investment to get a battering ram or a petard, but I'm not going to worry about those walls right at this moment. Beautiful. So start repairing people, and hopefully they're not going to run into my bombard towers, or these bombard towers, and we'll be able to take them down and not signal any of their dudes to come for these trebuchets. If this galleon was smart, he would kill me, but he is the AI, Yet again, another dumb AI mistake in my walkthroughs. Which I guess is why multiplayer is popular. I think they like the human competition. Just I don't end up having any real time for multiplayer. Holy crap, they are smart. Alright, so I just wasted 2 of these guys. Unfortunately. I did not expect this to occur, so I'm going to try to retreat now. And probably lose a trebuchet, because I'm not Korean. Oh, it already got... How did it already die? Oh, that's the answer. Right there, so not a good investment on my part. And it's almost a better thing if these guys don't get attracted to my base. I'm going to let them die. So that was unfruitful. Not a great choice on my part. And I'm going to go with the petard assault now. Just kind of smarter, more efficient. I'm not going to lose any trebuchets. Not going to take a chance there. And if I really want to, I can start selling some wood. We have a ton of these guys. Why? Oh, are these the ones I sent down here? Okay, I see. Alright. You know, as long as they're away from over here where the Tlaxcala can make me pretty vulnerable, I'm going to single out some of these guys that can repair. That's a dirty job, floating around here in the marshes, pounding on some wood ships. Right, and if you can hear this little radiator here in my basement, just ignore it as best you can. And I don't really know where I set this rally point at. Oh, that is not a good rally point. Or I guess it's not terrible. I'll just plop them in at the stone wall. Should be able to take the stone wall out in a couple of hits. But I don't want to exploit them before I realize how much any hits I need. And apparently I still have some backup units in the Navy to take down my trebuchets. Which you would expect, though. They are the Spanish Navy. Not the Portuguese Navy, but the Spanish Navy, but still, nonetheless. And I really want to do, before I do any assaulting, and this is the disorganized part of this, I'm just going to garrison up my villagers right now. Basically be all my farmers, which is not a bad thing, considering I'm going to keep you out here. Possibly sacrifice you. And they obviously have some siege weapons coming. They're walking a lot slower. Let's go for the crossbowmen first. Take them out, single them out. They'll probably do the most damage to my naval units. They have the opportunity to do so. And there's a hole in the wall now. So we can... a hole in the wall. Huh. Alright, so we can send them over here. And I want to avoid that keep, so I'm going to do a little bit more micromanaging sometime later. Let's take down this petard. And I guess this is the only line of defense I'm going to have for right now. It's not satisfying, but it's something nonetheless. Let's see what we can do with this battering ram and keep them over here. But it just gets so unorganized and so cluttered, it just drives me up the wall. A hole in the wall, up the wall, down the wall. He looks more like a scout than anything else. Still, he's still a threat to me. Explode. We got some great range here. Chemistry's helping us out a little bit too. Alright. Your war galleys will do the ground of the work against these types of assaults, so if you're going to have more fire ships or war galleys or whatever, Eagle Warriors are kind of pesty here. Go with the war galley, just because they'll help you against Tlaxcala and the Spanish. And so you want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. They hold up to the harpoons pretty good. Come on, hit them. We gotta be getting rid of him sooner or later. Alright, so town center will be killing them a little bit. Fast fire ships helping out a little bit as well. Burning some jaguar meat for me. Man, that is just a resilient eagle warrior. Excuse me, elite eagle warrior. It's like, that is an elite Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow. Okay, so he's just going to run to his death. And we're getting down to the bare bones of their assault. Got rid of the siege units, so should be okay. Alright, so now that this is taken care of, we can start repairing our navy, because that gets me kind of flustered. And all my fast fire ships are taken care of. My war galleys are the only ones in pain right now. Alright, so we can send them back to their farming duties. And check for already idle villagers. Alright, you're late to the action there. That's why you're an idle villager. Alright, so I'm going to start taking down this wall. So I do have these horses now. Take them in one by one. Move your Eagle Warriors and make sure that you're not depleting the number of horses you could potentially get. Beautiful. So this is what they look like. They have no upgrades, obviously, but they are elite. So they have 15 assault, 150 hit points, attack bonus against houses, or not houses. I wish we didn't have to build houses. Attack bonus against buildings. So now we have attack bonuses against buildings and infantry units. And then the Garland Wars thing, I believe, helps against cavalry. I need to research that a little bit more, though. Slowing the uptake for you guys. Oh, so this wall's not done. One more petard should do the trick, and I'm just waiting for these fishing ships to get a little bit closer to over here, and then I'll take them down. 2 more guys to file away here, and this is a big boost into your military, really is, if you manage them correctly. You do not want to lose these bombard cannons or these horses.
We have trained a horse rider.
The thing about Tarkans is they're kind of a minor siege unit almost in some respect. Alright, so single out him. And doing some more repairs in the ER over here. This is what I call it. I wish you could really have like a docking bay like you do in Red Alert 2. Just send them into the shipyard. They'll do the repairing for yourself. Alright, so I need to check out how many of these war galleys I have. I have 7. Oh, I got one more guy out here. So that makes it 8. And I should have 8 of them. So we're all set. War galley, get back. And I got about 4 minutes left in this part. Alright, so repairer, take care of him. Galleons just floating around waywardly. And you got some work to do, my friend. Getting rid of this wood is important. You also want to get rid of this over here. And I need to work with my petards now. Okay, it's so hard to just see where your petards are, especially. Alright, actually, I don't have much time left. I'm just going to take this wall out right now. Or I'll do it off. No, I'm going to take this wall out off screen, and I actually have to go right now. Sorry about that. It's a little bit shorter of a video. See you guys next time in part 4. You know what? No, I'm not going to see you in part 4. I'm going to see you right now. I'm going to give you a couple extra minutes. I found the time later on. This is like 10 hours later that I'm recording this, but I found a little bit of time before I upload part 3 of the Boiling Lake, so I might as well. Let's get a little bit, a few more minutes here. So, did I get these horses down here? Yes, I did with the Tarkans. Alright, so I'm probably just going to get these horses down here in this part. That'll be probably all I'm going to be doing. And then, okay, beautiful. So, it's going to send these horses down here, try to keep it away from this keep. You should be able to, though. Those keeps don't have that great of range. And we'll sneak these horses down here, get ourselves 4 more Tarkans before we move on and get these Tarkans. Alright, so we do need some more action here in queuing up farms. And everything's taken care of resource-wise. And so I'm not necessarily sure what my plans are with doing more defending over here. I'm just going to leave it as is right now. My Navy's doing a fine job until Tlaxcala is slowly losing power. And get Horsey out of there. We don't want him messing around. So get these horses in line. And I really don't know what else I'm going to do here in part 3. In part 4 even, I'll just be taking on these bombard towers, getting rid of these keeps. And then my main concern is, I need to destroy this university. Once you don't need it anymore, find this idle villager here. Oh, you're not supposed to be idle. I'm going to have him build a market because I think I'm about ready to get to the point where I can sell some of my resources, try to get spies here, try to get a jolt in my coffers for spies. And I got plenty of stone as well, so whenever I need to build a castle, I will do so. Once I get rid of this, I'll start chopping down these trees, and I might plop a horse rider down a castle over there. And I just can't get used to that interrupting me. So we got a pretty good army, and once again, I'm going to go with the Jaguar Warriors. I got a group of Eagle Warriors right now.
We have trained a horse rider.
But that's primarily for the occasional Spaniard assaults that come in. They really taper off as the scenario goes on, and if you don't build another castle.
Trained a horse rider.
Good to know. Alright, Market not ready. And you got another Eagle Warrior in there, and Navy's looking good. So
trained a horse rider.
Beautiful. So YouTube's not much else is gonna happen. I am sorry about that, but that's just the way it is right now. I'm gonna pump out some. Let's sell some of this wood that I'm not gonna be really needing too much. And that's getting low. Just bounce back and forth. It's alright selling the food. We get renewable resources and food. Not necessarily renewable, but you know what I mean. And definitely wood. So I think that should be enough for spies. If it's not, no, it's not. It's not enough. So we're going to continue to deplete my coffers. Shift. Alright, so that's it for spies. I still have plenty of wood. Alright, so now that really helps me out a lot. It gives me a perspective as to what I need to take care of. And in part 4, I'm going to be moving on to get some more resources. As you can tell, only gold patches on this map. They're really going to be struggling to get gold, so we want to prevent them from getting that. And then we'll be able to shut these two guys down. So see you guys in part 4. Hopefully this one wasn't too boring. They have a little navy left.